And with that, we are launching our space race. You may be wondering, and with what? Well, and with the fact that this is episode 75! Yay! We are launching our space race. We are proceeding along the space race, and we are going to, today, assess the situation, see what in the world we have to do to actually get along the way, and also find out why I'm holding this diamond, which you guys will get to see in a minute. It was actually AutomineGT asked a question, and we're going to be testing out what the answer is today. So, whoop, that's a sugarcane. Anyways, speaking of the space race, there's a lot involved in going to space, and what we are going to be taking a look at is very highly involved. In case you're wondering how highly involved, here is a clip from back in the Space Astronomy series, which has a very similar way to get to space. And it goes through pretty much how complicated it is, or at least a part of the complication. So it looks like in order to explore the universe, the first place we need to explore is the moon, and in order to get to the moon, we need a rocket and a spacesuit, obviously. So in order to make a rocket, we need a rocket workbench, compressed steel in order to make the rocket workbench, and an advanced wafer, and in order to make the compressed steel, we need an ingot compressor, and in order to make the ingot compressor, we need a basic wafer, which means that we need a circuit fabricator to make the basic wafer, and then in order to make the circuit fabricator, we need aluminum wiring. Okay, so then we've got if we do all those steps, we have the rocket workbench, and then in order to make the rocket, we need 8 heavy-duty plates, a nose cone, 4 rocket fins, tier 1 rocket engine, 4 heavy-duty plates, oxygen vent, tin canister, 3 heavy-duty plates, redstone torch, 8 compressed steel, so totally we need 31 heavy-duty plates, compressed steel, compressed aluminum, compressed bronze. In order to make compressed bronze, we need compressed copper and compressed tin. Okay, so that makes the rocket. And then, in order to make the rest of the stuff we need to go to space, let's see what else we need. We need a spacesuit, oxygen gear, fuel for the rocket, way to make fuel for the rocket, power system to run all the machines. Well then, let's get started. Just before we get into this, you may have noticed in that intro that there was a PeculiarPineTreePlays intro in there, all mixed in. That is because we're rebranding the channel as a PeculiarPineTreePlays channel, or rather as Peculiar Pine. Anyways, something like that. We are doing that, and so just to let you guys know, if you missed the name change video, that is what we were doing. In any case, let's get on to the task at hand. So, what we are doing today. First, we are starting with AutomineGT had a question, and that question was, Handy Andy, can you actually am I still called Handy Andy now? I don't know. Let me know what you guys think about that. Also, should I change to, if I'm not called Handy Andy, should I change to Handy, or should I change to Andy, or should I change to something else entirely? I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. But he asked the question that what happens if you have a diamond shovel and you compare it to the speed of the poly tool. So that is what we're going to do today. To start with, we are going to grab a diamond shovel and compare it to the speed of a poly tool, because for those of you guys who don't know, we are out of sticks. But for those of you guys who don't know, we have a poly tool, and the poly tool is really, really fast. That is the wrong place to make a shovel. Maybe it'll work anyways. Yes, it works. Anyways, okay. The poly tool is really, really fast. It has the, this is a poly tool, and it has the speed, shovel mining speed of 14. The diamond shovel has +4 attack damage, so that doesn't help. Let's go ahead and compare the speeds of these two devices and see how long they take to dig a certain amount of blocks. Let's say 5 blocks of dirt. Let's go somewhere where we can get a little bit more of a spacious area of dirt, like perhaps right here might be good. Okay, and let's dig 5 blocks of dirt and see how fast we get through it with the diamond shovel as opposed to the poly tool. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then there's the poly tool. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Actually, it's very close in speed. That is only on 14, though. It can go up to 16, and if I'm not mistaken, I think it goes a little bit faster than the shovel as it is. Not entirely sure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then there's the shovel, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It just feels a little bit more sluggish, but they are pretty comparable in speed, at least at a speed of 14 for the poly tool. So that is the comparison, in case you were wondering, which, yeah, you were wondering, AutomineGT, but that is the answer to your question. They're actually pretty close in speed. I was actually quite surprised that the poly tool should be quite a bit faster, I guess, but maybe not. Anyways, let's go ahead and put that in there, and let's go ahead and do something about the situation. So, we can, actually, I think we can, we don't need the diamond shovel anymore. I think we can decompose it into diamonds, But in any case, let's head on to the task this time, which is setting up the Space Race Manager and getting on the... Oh, those things are burnt out. Getting on our way to space. So, you saw in the little intro thing that... Does this thing decompose? It is out of power, so it doesn't help. Let's go ahead and grab a wrench. But you saw in the intro thing that the way to get to space, there's a lot of factors involved in getting to space. And so we are going to have a lot of work ahead of us. Oh, and is this thing going to work? Is it indeed going to work? No, yes, maybe, something like that. Is it going to actually decompose? Because here's the question. If the shovel has been partially damaged, will it decompose the thing? That is the question, and the answer is to be determined. The answer is to be determined. Will it decompose the shovel? It is slowly gaining power. And while it is gaining power, let's do a little bit of talking. So, what we are going to be doing today is the space race thing. Let's go ahead and get started on that. Now, Lupus590 suggested that what we do is we go and, first of all, check if this thing, it's really slowly gaining power. Oh, you know what? That would be because the power is going off into the quarry. I think it might be time to disable that quarry because the quarry is taking a whole lot of power that we do not have. This thing is... not decomposing. Oh, well, let's leave it there. Let's leave it there for now. Anyways, we're going to set up underground somewhere. Oh, and speaking of stuff, these trees are part of the new forest that has grown up above the base to make it look like a more of a hidden base, and that is what we like to see. Anyways, we are going to start the Space Race Manager thing, and we are going to start it by going into this quarry, which happens to have a big thing over here. We need to remove this because it looks a little bit conspicuous. It looks a little bit conspicuous while we are trying to do our thing of whatever it is we're trying to do. Having a hidden base. That is what we were trying to do. That is what we were trying to do. And let's go ahead and set this thing up like this. Let's just go ahead and leave that for now. Anyways, back to the point. So, here's the big question. Should we set up the underground rocket base in this section or in that section over there somewhere? That is the big question. But let's go ahead and start the Space Race Manager. So, on the pause menu, this is part of the Galactic Craft mod, I believe. And you can click on the Space Race Manager down in the bottom right corner. Let's go ahead and click on that. And now we can customize our flag and change our team name. Let's call the team name. If you guys didn't see the video, the name change video, we need a team name for our channel. I'm thinking something along the lines of the Peculiar Pine Tree Forest or Forest of Peculiar Pine Trees or something. Why does it say you? That's weird. Anyways, but I didn't actually check. There was a poll on the video and I didn't check what the poll was yet. So let's just name this thing one thing for now. How long can you make it? Peculiar Pine Tree Forest is too long. Let's go ahead and delete this. I'm going to work something out and be back in a minute. Well then, this actually fits very nicely. Peculiar Pine Tree Forest. Let's see if we can customize our flag for our mission of getting to space, seeing how fast we can do it and stuff like that. And let's, okay, can we actually, here's a question. Can we, oh, you can turn a grid on. That's the bottom button on the left. There's also this, which is, I don't know what that is. And there's this, which is something else as well. And okay, so it looks like we cannot add an image, but we may be able to work something out. I'm going to be back in a minute. Well, that's an awfully peculiar looking pine tree. Anyways, that is the Peculiar Pine Tree Forest thing. In case you're wondering, my sister's the artist, not me. She did all the backgrounds and stuff on the channel. And so thank you to her for that. But in any case, this is our flag now for the Peculiar Pine Tree Forest. And we need a team color. Let's make the team color a mixture of green and blue. What does that do? Oh, that is weird. Let's go ahead and yikes. That looks a little bit weird. Okay, let's try one of these colors like that. Let's try that color. Looks like a good idea. Possibly, maybe, something like that. Anyways, our team color matches our flag, which is perfect indeed. Now, I do believe we need to add a player, which would be ourselves, unless we are already automatically added into the party of the thing. And let's go ahead and double check this. Open the Space Race Manager, and we now have our thing of Peculiar Pine Tree Forest, send invite. Do I have to invite myself? Do you have to? Okay, well, hopefully it worked properly, if that is the way it's supposed to work. But in any case, that is now our flag. We now have a flag for the Peculiar Pine Tree Forest going into space, and let's go ahead and get doing that. Can you actually make a flag and stick it on the ground somewhere? Flag is... Oh, you can make a flag. Okay. It requires canvas, which requires sticks and string, one of the two, and steel poles, which we do not have the thing for, because we need to get going on what you guys saw in the beginning of the video over here in the intro. So, we need to, first of all, today, I think we're going to scout out a place to set up our rocket base, and after scouting out the place, then we can proceed to complete the task with a rocket and stuff like that, get to that in a future episode. That is the plan. So, in any case, we should probably put it somewhere where it will... So, here's the plan. What Lupus590 suggested and stuff like that is basically to make an underground rocket launching platform with a piston door that opens in the roof, and that way we can have... Oh, this is... Okay, I was looking for a big hole in the floor. This is the place down here for some things. But if we have that place and a piston door that opens in the roof, then we have a very nice rocket launching platform. Now, here's the deal. We need to figure out how far down do we want the rocket to be. Do we want it to be all the way down at the bottom of the world, or do we want it to be just barely under the surface? Possibly, it would probably look a lot more exciting to have it at the bottom and then go all the way up. That would probably be good. Basically, we have 4 sections to the base, and let's grab a couple of signs. Actually, 4 signs to be exact, and let's try to label those sections of the base so that we can, if you guys want to suggest anything in the comments or anything, you guys can use the naming system that we set up in order that we don't get confused between who's talking about what and where. And so let's go ahead and do that. Let's go ahead and grab a couple of signs. Let's go ahead and grab a few more signs, and let's go ahead and find out that we're out of wood. Okay, I'll be back in a minute. We would have had a problem, but now we no longer do, now that we possess wood, so that is perfect. Let's go ahead and set that up and make a sign like that, and there we go. So, we need to label the sections of the base. Let's label this door, except that there's not much point to doing that, because as soon as we press that, the sign disappears. So, let's go ahead and head inside and label this section, this big column here. Let's label this section 1. Let's put on the side here, welcome, let's do that again, welcome to section 1, because this is section 1. And now this section down here that goes all the way from the surface all the way down to bedrock, this section would be called section 2. Welcome to section 2, and now we can proceed from there, and we can go into the 3rd section, and we need a way through to the 3rd section. Would be a good idea. So, let's see. The way through to the 3rd section is actually down at the basement, because we need to actually set up floors, figure out where we're putting the floors, which depends a lot upon whether we are putting the rocket into the one section or the other section. That is the situation, and it is very dark in here. That needs to be fixed as well. But we have this section over here. So where we were back over here, this is section 2, and now over here we have section 3. And how are we going to get into... Okay, let's go ahead and set this up this way. Let's go ahead and put the sign over here and say, welcome to section 3, I'll be back in a minute. And you most definitely are welcome. Anyways, welcome to section 3. Now we need to head all the way over here and go into... We have the place... here's the trouble. We have in the way to get through here, we have what is called a place that could be a section of base, but is not yet, because we have not yet run the quarry in this area. So that is what we have. So right now what we're traveling through would be section 4, possibly, except for the fact that it doesn't exist yet. So should we call the other place over here section 4 that we're heading to, or should we call this place that we are heading through section 4? That is the big question. And I believe that we are in the middle of, okay, that is not exactly where I was hoping to land, but that is not too good. But in any case, let's go ahead and set up a sign here that says, welcome to section, let's call this 5, I guess. Welcome to section 5. There we go. Section 4 is not yet built. So, welcome everybody to section 5 of the base, and here's the big question. Should we set up the rocket in section 5, or should we set it up in section 3? And I think the answer to that might have something to do with what we are planning to do with such a place. So, in this section over here, section 5, and the reason we're discussing all this, by the way, is so that we can proceed in setting up for space. And that is the idea. So in here, I'm planning to put things like tree farms and other big things that require a lot of space. So that would be in this section. So I guess over here would be a good rocket launching place, except that do we need anything in here? Do we need anything in here? I don't know. Let's go ahead for now and start setting up the rocket in this place, although we don't have the materials to set up the rocket here yet. So if you guys can let me know in the comments what you think. Should we set up the rocket in section 3 down maybe at the basement and then have it sent up? Or should we set it up in section 5 over here and have it off in one corner, like maybe in... Well, here's the other thing, is that when you look on the surface, let me just get up to the surface. The question is, what will it look like from the surface? Right now, we are above section 2. It may be a little difficult to tell, but this is section 2 down there. And then if we get over to here, this is section 3, and there is a massive forest above it. And so we would need to clear some of that out in order to send the rocket up from section 3. Whereas over here, this is actually section 4 that is not yet built. This might be the perfect place to launch a rocket, except it's not ready for use yet, so we'll have to make do. But also, there is over here, this is section 4. It is a massive section that goes over, much of this area. And it has little things like this cave in it. So here is an idea, is that we could have inside the cave, we could have this as the way that opens and the rocket goes out of there, because there's no forest above the cave. So we don't have to clear forest and then have a bare patch of forest that is like, I wonder if there's a secret base under there. We could have it right in the middle of a cave that does not get overgrown by forest. Or we could even have it over in this section. This might be a good section to place it over here, which is still part of section 5, but it is a little bit different location in section 5. There was also another place. This might work as well, right about here. And over here might work as well, because it's a nice big-ish area. This might actually be the best site. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think about, let's call this site, I don't know, 5 of section 5 or something like that. Let me know what you guys think about the different ideas for where exactly to put the rocket, but what is the way forward? That is what we are checking this episode, because we need to assess the situation. So, we need to make a rocket. Whoops, wrong button. Let's go ahead and press the right button there, and we need a flag. That is the most important thing, but besides the flag, we need what was talked about in the introduction to this video. And also, let me know if you guys enjoy the different sort of editing. And did I mention this earlier, that the intro, I just shortened it. I just shortened it for this time because it's been really long. You guys have told me a while ago, actually, that it's really long of an intro, the Thinking Pack intro. And I didn't have much time to fix it. And so eventually, like, just this time, I just went and chopped it down a bit. And let me know if you guys think it made it better or worse. But in any case, we need to make a rocket. We need such a thing as a tier 1 rocket that will get us to the moon. I believe it'll also get us to a space station and stuff like that. The tier 1 rocket requires a NASA workbench to make the rocket, and then it requires materials and things to be able to make the rocket successfully. So let's go ahead and check out a NASA workbench, which is this thing over here. Plus, press right shift for more info. The NASA workbench is used to operate many advanced parts and vehicles. New schematics can be added as they are found, because you find schematics around places. Like, for example, you can't build the tier 2 rocket. That's the tier 1. You can't build the tier 2 rocket, which is where it is. Where is it? Where is the tier 2 rocket? I don't even know where it went, but it is around here somewhere, and you cannot build it until you have the schematic, which you find in a dungeon on the moon, if I remember correctly. So, you basically need to get out into space to go farther into space. Anyways, NASA Workbench requires compressed steel and advanced wafer and levers and redstone torch and crafting table. Now, in order to make those things, we need compressed steel, which comes from a compressor, oddly enough. And the compressor requires a whole bunch of things to make it. And so let's go ahead and check out the situation. What do we need to make a compressor? There are two types of compressors. There is the compressor and then the electric compressor. And where exactly did they go? The compressor, where'd you go? Oh, there we go. Compressor. It compresses metals, and it requires a lot of aluminum, and it requires a basic wafer. So the compressor is the next stage of machine. We need something to make that basic wafer. There's the electric compressor. Let's go ahead and check on that guy at the same time. He requires an advanced wafer and compressed stuff, so we need to make the basic compressor first. And in order to make the wafers that we need to make I believe it's a circuit fabricator. Let's double check that. Wafer is down here, and it is, yes, a circuit fabricator. A circuit fabricator. And that thing requires furnace, it requires aluminum, it requires levers and buttons and aluminum wire and stuff like that. And let's go ahead, I think we can make that today. Let's go ahead and make that today and go ahead and whoops, where in the world are we? We are on top of our base, but where is the way home? Where is the way home? Where is the way home? That is the big question. That is the big question. I believe this is the way home. No, it is not. This is the opposite of the way home. This is actually a secluded area that may be good to build something in later, but it is not the way home. The way home is over this way. And let's go ahead and if you guys have any ideas for that area over there, then let me know what you guys think about that as well, because we have as much real estate as we would like, because it is an entire Minecraft world that we have at our disposal. So, let me know what you guys think if you want to build something here, something there, something the other place, and where should we set up our rocket systems? Should we set it up in section 3? Should we set it up in section 5? Should we set it up in somewhere, I don't know. But let's go ahead and make the machine to start with. Let's make the circuit fabricator, which is this thing over here. Let's go ahead and search it up so that we can find it more successfully. Circuit fabricator. And it requires buttons, it requires furnaces, it requires aluminum ingots and aluminum wires require aluminum. Do we have enough aluminum? Do we have enough aluminum? Aluminum, and let's go ahead and check on the aluminum situation, and let's go ahead and see if we can find any aluminum. Let's go ahead and double check inside the place over here, and I'll be back once I find or do not find some. We have loads of aluminum, but is it enough aluminum to accomplish the task that we have before us? Let's go ahead and find out. So, let's go ahead and head over to our crafting table in the darkness over here, because we forgot to open the roof, but it is nice stuff over here. Let's go ahead and check on this situation. So, we have aluminum. Do we have what we need for a circuit fabricator? Circuit fabricator is this thing, and it requires aluminum wire. Let's go ahead and make some of that. And, oh, we actually need to turn the aluminum into ingots. That would be very helpful. Let's go ahead and turn that into ingots once again. Not once again, because we've never done it before, but it is the, 16 to make an aluminum ingot. Okay. Let's go ahead and do some of that. We have never done that before with aluminum, but we have done it before with other things, and that is an aluminum ingot. And let's go ahead and stick in some aluminum like this, and there we go. It is turning into aluminum ingots as fast as we can speak, just about. And we need to make sure that we have enough to go in the thing later. Whoops, that's not what we want to do there. Aluminum ore into the place down here, or rather up here, one of the two. And that is aluminum. That is aluminum stuff over there. And now we have some aluminum ingots to get started with. Let's go ahead and turn these aluminum ingots into the stuff that we need to make the thing. So we need to make a aluminum wire, and we do not have the wool. Oh, this actually, the wool is going to be a bigger problem. Let's put that in there for safekeeping. The wool is going to be a bigger problem than the aluminum. So that is a bit of an assessment of where we are at today. That is a bit of an assessment that the tree is in the way. Hey, that rhymes. There we go. But in any case, let me know what you guys think. Should we set up the rocket stuff? There is the rocket launching pad, but there's also all the things like the rocket fuel and the rocket making machines and stuff like that. Should we set it up in section 3 or in section 5? That is a big question, but in any case, some of you guys might be... Okay, some of you guys might be wondering, sorry, getting tongue-tied again, what is happening with this GPS thing, because it was slightly off coordinate last time. Well, it has been completely fixed, at least last I checked. It should be GPS locate, and it is completely accurate to our current location, more or less. Yes, it is, actually. It measures, as far as the Y, it measures for our height, where we are holding it at, instead of just where we are standing at. But it is accurate now, which is excellent. I had to go and reset the satellites, and I had to do it, and then it didn't actually work because I got it wrong again, so then I had to go and just went in creative mode to fly over there to fix the satellites a little bit faster. But in any case, that is that. We are back. And that is that. So, hopefully you guys enjoyed the video today and all that kind of stuff. If you guys have any comments about anything that we talked about in this video, then let me know. I'm just looking quickly through my notes to see if there's anything else to talk about today. And I don't appear to see anything. So, that is that. So, hopefully you guys enjoyed the video today, and we are going to be proceeding along our path to make the rocket stuff. And if you guys have any suggestions what you think we should do first along the way to get the rockets, we are going to try to get there by episode 100. Episode 100 is when we are going to try to be in space. Hopefully it'll be a lot quicker than that, and we'll be there by like episode 85 or something, and then we'll be going to the next place, which would be the Mars and stuff like that, and making a space station by episode 100. We shall see exactly how long things take, but that is the plan, is to do all that kind of stuff. So, hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. I said that already and stuff like that, and bye-bye!